What you guys can't see behind me, there's me in the Kia Soul EV, Sid's in the Range Rover, one of his colleagues from India is in the CX-30, and then we got a guy from Mexico in the Z4 M40i. It's kind of like the opening from Reservoir Dogs, but instead of like cool guys that are like mafioso, gang type guys, we're just car geeks. Whether it's an EV, a sports car, an urban car, an SUV, or the technological marvel that is the Porsche Taycan, what are some of the other things that I'm looking for? Well, how does it work in terms of UX? What kind of attention was paid to the details of the interaction with the vehicle, but also tactile feel? Because at the end of the day, you're not driving a propulsion system, you're not driving a specific design, you're driving a vehicle and you're interacting with it. And I would argue that's more important nowadays as more devices are connected to the vehicle, which takes away your attention to driving.
The Kia Soul EV really impressed me at the other end of the spectrum.
Totally agree.
Still an EV, really well built, nice design on the inside, great on space, very practical urban product.
Of course, there had to be one car that had an advantage over others in this search for an outlier in different categories. Believe it or not, this is the one. And that's because, not but last week, you and I had the Kia Niro EV. I did a live broadcast on that car. And I gotta tell you, wonderful vehicle, ridiculously overpriced, wonderful vehicle. And I am a huge fan of EVs, especially considering where I live. And I do have the 240 plug at home, so I can not only realistically use the charger at home, but the Kia Niro is 260 miles of range, the Kona EV, 260 miles of range. This one I think is similar, so it's very usable and the range anxiety goes away when you're 250 miles and above. As everybody look over and say hello to Sid. That's Sid. He runs the car, he's the host of the Car and Bike Show in India on NDTV's, kind of a rock star there. He's the only man that I know that drove a Mercedes all the way around the world. He drove it, didn't fly it. Well, it flew at certain parts, but he's the one that drove it all the way around the world. I think when I grow up, I kind of want to be Sid.
It's become mainstream, so yeah, the functionality, the purpose of that product was put ahead of the fact that it was green.
Couldn't one argue that it's a combination of Chevrolet and Nissan made it mainstream? Because they came out with cars that were 30,000, not 90,000.
No, they made it approachable. But I'm not sure they made the development of the cars go in that direction of being a car first and incidentally EV.
But that's all fine and good. It still needs to be a car. So what are you looking for in terms of an outlier in this category? For me, I'm looking for usability. I'm looking for a car. I'm not looking for a science project. I'm also looking for something that fits into a budget. Because let's be honest, you look at a Tesla Model 3, they can advertise 35 grand all they want. They're not 35 grand. The ones you see on the street are anywhere between, say, low 40s into the 50s. Then you get into the performance models, you're way over that.
Clue me in on this. Why was the Kia Niro EV not on that?
We had the Niro as a model last year. And so,
so it wasn't new enough.
And so this was like the variant that got added on, and plus don't forget that we had the hybrid already as well.
This is not a $37,000 car. The Kia Niro EV is very expensive at 47 grand, but that was the fancy one. But let's go back to that Kona EV, which is related to this. That's high 20s. That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for in an outlier in this segment.
I like the Kia Soul EV a lot. And keep in mind, we have 240 plugs here.
Yeah.
So I've spent a lot of time with EVs since moving in here, and I did the Kia Niro EV, not but the week before World Car, and I fell in love with it.
No, because these cars they still drive well.
They drive wonderful.
They handle well,
and it's still a car. It's still screwed together well. I liked, and of course, the UX design on both the interior of the Soul and the Niro. I just like the Kia better than the Soul. Excuse me, the Kia Niro EV than the Soul.
Well, but that's also not in the running this year, so...
Just saying.
Just keep the focus, man.
I'm still in the 718.